Hi guys, I'm Leon. I'm a German guy living and studying in New Zealand, and on this channel I want to share my experiences with you. Now, I've been living here in New Zealand for like almost 2 months now, I think already. And I think it's safe to say that I really like the country. I like the people, I like the culture, I like the landscape and stuff. It's really great here. However, of course, there are just a few things that I miss about Germany while I'm living here. Most of these things are really minor, but still, if we had this here in New Zealand, it would just be even more perfect than it already is. Now, the first thing are, of course, bakeries. This is probably one of those things every German says that they miss them when they are abroad, because we really take a lot of pride in our bakeries, as we should, because our bread is pretty much the best in the world. And you just don't have those bakeries here like you have them in Germany, where you have them like at every corner. No, this is just non-existent basically, this sort of business. I mean, they sell like bread at the supermarket, but it's really not bread as we would call it. They even call toast bread here, which is, in my opinion, the biggest insult for bread ever. So yeah, this is just one of those things. I mean, it's not like I need to have bread every day, but after a while you really start to miss that good German bread. Now, the second thing I miss about Germany is again basically about food. That is the cheap food prices that we have in Germany. Because food here is really expensive, especially stuff like vegetables or fruits or dairy, which doesn't make any sense to me because they produce loads of dairy here. But yeah, this is really way more expensive than it is in Germany. And I think for most of it makes sense, because, well, basically they have to import all the stuff. But yeah, like I said, for stuff like dairy, I just don't get it why it's so expensive here. And of course, beer and other alcohol here is ridiculously overpriced. But I guess as a German you are a little spoiled here because our beer prices are so low. But still, this is really something that if you like having a few beers a week, as a good German should, it will cut into your budget significantly. This leads to the next point, which is about alcohol regulations. This is something you really don't think about when you are from Germany. You would never think that something like this exists. They actually have liquor ban areas here, and quite often actually. Basically, in cities you are never allowed to drink like on the outsides in public. And I first realized the actual big impact this has when we were like going to a club and I wanted to have like another beer before going inside. So I wanted to drink, like I got a beer with me, I wanted to drink it on the streets. And yeah, the bouncer, well, took it away from me and threw it away, and I was completely perplexed because this is something that would never happen in Germany. I mean, in Germany you can basically drink whenever and wherever you want. If it's like 10 AM in the middle of the street next to a small child, no one cares. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, but that's just how it is. And I mean, actually, public drinking is pretty much encouraged with all those beer and wine fests we have going on. So yeah, that is really quite a big difference, these alcohol regulations that they have here. You cannot even buy like hard stuff like liquor at the supermarket like you can do in Germany, but they have specific stores for that. And they are really quite strict about having an ID to show. And German ID actually doesn't work. You have to always have your passport with you to identify your age, which sucks quite a bit, or is quite annoying to always have to have like this big passport in your pocket when you think you might want to buy some alcohol. Of course, I wouldn't want to encourage drinking and stuff, but as a German where alcohol is such a big part of our culture basically, yeah, I wouldn't really mind having these regulations soften up a little here. The next thing I miss here in New Zealand are student parties. Because in Germany you have at least once a week a student party organized by the student associations in a club or in the university grounds itself actually. And there are always plenty of fun, and you just don't have that here. There's basically no party life at the university here, or well, you have to organize it yourself. It's not organized by university associations and stuff. Now, the last thing I miss about Germany here in New Zealand is, and many Germans will not agree with me on this, public transport. Because, I mean, you can say that the Deutsche Bahn, like the German public transport, is probably not always on time, and there are loads of issues with it, and trains probably need to be modernized. But at least we have like working countrywide public transport systems. You can basically get everywhere without a car if you have to. And this is really not something you have here in New Zealand. If you don't have a car, you are not getting anywhere. Of course they have buses here, but specifically like stuff like trains, I don't feel like this is so well developed here yet. So you can complain about German public transport as much as you want, but when you stay here for a while, you really start to appreciate what we have in Germany. Although it's not perfect, but at least there is something there. So there you have it. These are just a few things I miss about Germany while staying here. It doesn't bother me that much, but let's just say there's still some room for improvement. So Kiwis, take notes. I'm sure you would appreciate cheap food and alcohol as well. That's all I have for you for now. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!